Tonight's guest is Lon Strickler from Phantoms and Monsters.
Looking back on the life that you're leaving, let it rest in a hole in the ground. Stick around for the great revealing, or the fire you've been dancing around. All we hear is the sound of retreating. No one cares where you're coming from. My ears are still ringing and bleeding. I guess we all knew from the start. These are the days my heart goes numb. Yeah, one of these days will be the one. Looking for answers. What a disaster. These are the days my heart goes numb. My heart goes numb. Breathing the fumes of the ashes, the spirits light up the night, looking down the
Now, we're live from the Untold Radio Network. It's Untold Radio AM with Monster Quest producer, host Doug Hajicek, and co-host Jeff Perrella Jr. Untold Radio AM is going live right now. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Yep, that's the ticket. Now here are your Untold Radio AM hosts, Doug Hajicek and Jeff Perrella Jr.
Hello, everyone.
You always beat me. You're quicker. Anyhow,
I'm on it. I'm on top of it.
welcome to the year 2026, Mr. Jeffrey.
Welcome to the new year. Boy, it sure goes by fast, doesn't it?
Yes, and all of our Untold listeners. We made it.
We did
right?
make it in
We're here.
2026.
We're all here.
Yeah. Good to see everybody in the chat. So many good friends out there.
Yeah.
Love it.
We do have a lot in there. So tonight we're gonna take a little step back into the dark with Lon Strickler. We always have Bigfoot guests on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about some other stuff. This will be fun.
So this will be a little darker, a little scarier, a little creepier.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Because I want to tell you, you can say, well, these things aren't real. I can tell you they are. I thought the same way until I saw one about a foot away from my head. So I thought they just weren't real. In fact, I refused to do a episode on Monster Quest due to the fact I just didn't think they were real. I just thought they were misidentified.
Yeah,
And
it's
really they're not.
it's a little out there, but I'm open-minded. I don't know what's out there. The world's a big place, so who knows?
Yeah. I don't know what they are, but I do know we saw one. And when you see one with somebody,
Yeah.
and it dives at you, and you end up ducking, you kind of know what you saw. And the
Yeah.
wings were wider than the freeway.
And I've heard both your stories independently. You both tell the exact same story, and
Scary.
it definitely scared the heck out of her, no question.
Yeah, well, it's tough. I don't know. She's still suffering
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
Because when that happens, your entire reality
I bet.
changes. Like everything. Like anything's game at that point.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah. So anyhow, we're going to get into that with Lon Strickler from Phantom and Monsters. We're going to talk about Mothman reports, sightings, patterns, and what's going on right now because there is an invasion.
Big surge in sightings, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lots and lots of witnesses. So they're real. Okay. Then we have our Jeff's favorite, our weird and fast news, weird fact of the week. We've got some other things going on. We've got clips.
A little tech breakdown.
Yeah. Well, I've got a tech breakdown preview.
Yeah, a teaser tech breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a big one, and I didn't
Yeah.
think we had time tonight to do it, so we're just going to move it. And then we're also another teaser is we're going to have Eric Eric Steamboat Reed, come on and do a tech breakdown on a new idea that he has, which I have knew a little bit about it, checked it out, and it is a thing, and that's acoustic cameras.
Cool.
Cameras that use sound, and they're now available.
Interesting.
Yeah, think what you could do with that. You could do all sorts of things you can't do with a light camera that relies on light
Right.
or heat, because it relies on heat nor light.
Right.
It relies on basically radar reflecting.
Are you aware of imaging with Wi-Fi?
Yes.
You familiar with that?
Yeah.
For
And
people that don't know what I'm talking about.
Another thing that's going to happen because there's people that can paint a picture of inside your home
Yep.
and see where you are based on the resistance your body puts out from the Wi-Fi signal because
Yep.
we're being bombed by Wi-Fi.
Yep. Basically, you can see like an X-ray vision through buildings. It's pretty wild.
So then why can't we bring Wi-Fi equipment to the woods?
Why not? And again, these are the things that we know about. Whenever I see something crazy, I think about that there's someone that has technology that's probably 20 years past that we won't hear about for 30 years.
Don't know about.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is nuts. So anyhow, tonight, somewhere between science and things that don't have any explanation, we're going to cover tonight. So
Bring it. Love it.
Turn the lights down, grab a beverage, whatever that might be. I swear to God, you were drinking whiskey last year.
You gave me permission, man.
It was fine. It was
you said go for it, so I didn't ask twice. I had a little bit of scotch. It was great.
That's what it was, scotch.
Yeah, it was a New Year's show. I don't normally do that, but it was a New Year's show. We were celebrating.
Did it?
I was in a good mood.
Well, I wonder why. Anyhow, so grab a beverage, whatever that might be.
Just water tonight, though. Back to water.
Yeah, pull your blanket tight, lock your damn door, settle in for a relaxing and maybe chilling 2.5-hour tour, as I'm getting teased about. I have some people that go, "Oh, it's one of Doug's 3-hour tours." Never know, it might be.
Yeah, sometimes the time just kind of flies when we're talking.
It does. Yeah, we don't worry about it. Anyhow, so let's get on with the weird and fast news.
Weird and fast news. Here we go.
It's time for weird and fast news. Yeah! It's time for weird and fast news.
The first weird and fast news is they are doing a study and figuring out that humans may have another sense. So we have, the 6 right now. This could be a 7th. And I think we've all experienced this kind of thing. And it's based on feeling things before you make contact with them. From their, whatever you want to call it. You could call it their aura, their electrical current, their whatever. But it's now being studied by science. So apparently it's real
interesting.
Deal. So scientists are now hold on here. And you can see that they're doing this with sand. They can sense the sand. It doesn't work that way. No. I'm having trouble with my scroller. I think my mouse batteries are dead. That's good. Those wireless mouse batteries.
Yeah, I don't like wireless mice for that reason. I don't like wireless keyboards or mice for that reason.
Yeah, remind me I need to replace.
The batteries always go out at the worst time.
Yeah, they do. Anyhow, scientists are now reporting that humans may possess, keyword may, a previously unrecognized remote touch sense, allowing us to detect objects before we can actually make contact with them. Similar to certain shorebirds that sense prey hidden beneath the sand. In a study where participants probed the sand for buried objects, volunteers could locate items by subtle shifts in sand movement at a distance of up to 2.7 inches. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That kind of rules out, I would think it would rule out like heat from an object if it's buried under the sand.
Yeah.
It's scoring at about 70% accuracy. So that's pretty
Interesting.
good. That's pretty good proof. Without direct touch, even when compared with what they call tactile equipped robots, humans were better at judging the presence of hidden objects with fewer false positives, showing that our sense of touch may extend beyond our fingers.
Interesting.
is
I wonder if could be magnetic, could be vibrations, harmonics, frequencies. I think harmonics and vibrations are the secret to everything. I really do.
Yeah.
I think we're
See,
going to find that out.
I can sense things from miles away with my fingers.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, researchers say this discovery challenges the traditional idea that humans only have 5 senses. Oh, I said 6, didn't I?
Yeah, I don't want to correct you. I knew it's okay.
Thanks. Thanks for not embarrassing me.
I don't want to embarrass you.
Oh God,
It's not what we're here for.
It's been a day. Well, we kind of are. We're supposed to have fun. So you get something to embarrass. Yeah, feel free.
Okay.
Researchers say
It reminds me of a story. Oh, never mind.
Researchers say this discovery challenges the traditional idea that humans only have 5 senses, suggesting a kind of 7th. Now, why does it jump from 5 to 7th? 7th remote touch.
It's not how I'm reading it, but I don't know. Maybe you read different than me.
Suggesting a kind of 7th.
Or 6th, whatever.
It says 7th there.
Doesn't
it?
I'm not seeing that.
Oh, come on. It says suggesting a kind of 7th remote touch.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it does say that, but
Well, gee, I
didn't write it.
Well, I didn't either. This is
Okay.
There's a reporter that wrote this.
But I do know that most humans have only 5 senses. Some have less. Some may
Well,
have
I
more.
think I have like 8 or 9.
It could be. I don't know.
I do. Maybe 10.
Baker's dozen? Who knows?
Maybe 12. Stay clear of me. Let's see here. For instance, I can sense when a podcaster doesn't have pants on.
I do have pants on today. Look at that.
Yeah, I knew that. See? I knew. All right. It says this remote touch sense that could reshape how we understand perception. The findings could also inform future technology. Understanding humans' remote touch may help improve robots. Okay. Enough of that.
That was weird, but not very fast.
Now, that was slow. highly delayed. This next one's, I guarantee the rest of them are lightning quick.
Good.
I guarantee it.
Ready?
No.
No?
No,
Are you using your 8th sense to tell me no?
No, I'm using my mouse that it scrolls to it and then jumps back.
It's your 9th sense screwing things up, I think.
Mouse. It's a non-mouse. We have a lot of yeah, it's really doing that. I'm going to grab that little bar because I can't use the wheel. The wheel is shut. Okay, astronomers spot strange hourglass galaxy feature. Astronomers using Australia's ASKAP radio telescope apparently they just stumbled on an unexpected hourglass-shaped structure above and below a seemingly ordinary galaxy. Is there such a thing as an ordinary galaxy, Jeff? I wouldn't think.
Sure.
Well, they find this galaxy disk, but above it and below it, as you can see, there's an hourglass funnel that dips into it. It says a formation not predicted by any current models of galactic shape and evolution. This balanced, symmetrical form so far defies easy explanation. Yeah, I'd say sure we can explain that. It's an egg timer. It's a giant egg timer.
Yeah. Maybe your 11th sense can tell what it is.
I got 12. Remember, 12. Raising fresh questions about how galaxies morph and what forces could create such a structure. See, done. Enough of that.
Ran fast.
That's enough of that crap. And while we're talking about space, here's another one.
I like talking about space.
Oh, good. Astronomers have discovered the largest and most energetic odd radio circle, or they call it ORC, ORC, known to date. It's a colossal, unexplained radio ring surrounding distant galaxies. These massive, mysterious structures remain rare, with only one handful identified so far, and their origins are still unknown. It's probably like radar. They probably have some kind of radar to protect the whole galaxy.
Probably.
Alarm system.
They have 14 senses in that galaxy.
It's like a ring doorbell, a giant ring doorbell.
For the whole galaxy.
For the whole galaxy. Yeah, exactly. Well, why not?
Sure.
I mean, what's the difference? You just scale it up to that.
Yeah.
It says that they are offering one of the cosmos's strangest ongoing puzzles. Well, here you go. I think the next thing is even more strange.
Weirder and faster?
It's definitely weirder. Dolphins seen wearing wigs. Oh my God, that's crazy. I should have put their tongues hanging out.
Yeah, 3 of them.
All 3. And one of the most surreal wildlife observations of the year, scientists documented dolphins in Western Australia deliberately sporting sea sponges on their heads, not as camouflage or tool use, but seemingly as intentional accessories, possibly for social display. These sponges are being worn like fashion statement, baffling researchers and making dolphins the ocean's most stylish mammals of 2025. And that's exactly what they look like, Jeff. It's exact.
That's an exact photograph.
That's an exactly they look like that.
I wonder if whiskey was involved in that. That wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, maybe they have some, I don't know. Maybe they get bald. Maybe they get a bald spot.
Could be.
Oh, Lord. Okay, next. We have these things again. These things keep coming to haunt me. Researchers have found that naked mole rats seem to resist aging thanks to a specific changes in DNA repairing protein. These tweaks help fix age-related damage. Why do they care? More effectively than when similar changes were made in fruit flies, those flies also lived longer. So they're learning how to shut the aging off. And you'll end up looking like that.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Put a mole. Go get your annual mole rat shot.
No.
Jeez. No thanks. Hinting at clues that could one day unlock aspects of biological aging in humans. There you go. Now the next one, I think, Jeff, you should try this summer. In fact, I'm willing to help you with the experiment.
Are you ready for this picture, everyone? This is a wild.
Oh, it's great. Here we go.
Ready?
From naked mole rats to striped cows.
Yeah.
In a delightfully odd scientific study. I'm sure it was sponsored with...
Delightfully odd. That reminds me of a gal I used to date. She was delightfully odd.
Should we change our weird and fast news to delightfully odd news?
Delightfully odd news.
Okay.
I like that.
Let's do that next
Time for a new bumper. Delightfully odd news.
I can do that. A scientific study honored with an IG Nobel Prize. Oh, wow. For this study, researchers tried painting cows with zebra-like stripes to see if that would reduce fly bites. The experiment didn't just make cows runway ready. It provided actual data suggesting the pattern can help deter biting flies, offering a quirky but potentially useful insight into livestock comfort and pest control. All we need to do is paint every animal.
That had to happen over some beers. How did that come up? Like someone had to say, "Hey, let's paint these cows like a zebra."
They're laughing.
Who the heck thought of that?
They're laughing all the way to the bank.
They're still laughing.
Oh my God. Oh God. God knows, I'd love to know how much money they got for that study.
Nobel Prize. Wow.
I think that was delightfully odd.
That was delightfully odd.
So what do you think? It'll work? Let's try it on you. We'll do.
Pay me up with zebra stripes?
We'll
sure, why not?
With zebra stripes, and we'll do Brendan without.
Yeah.
You got to get completely naked.
No.
And go out in the mosquito-infested woods. And one will have stripes, and then we'll count the little bites. lights.
Okay, well, give me enough beer and I might do it.
Okay. Anyhow, so let's just go do this tech breakdown tease.
Tech breakdown. Okay, here we go.
Tease.
Teaser.
Sounded like the tech breakdown had a baby or something.
Yeah, it kind of sounded
That was weird. What the hell was that?
I don't know. I havenn't changed anything. That's the
Sounded
same old
like a-
tech breakdown bumper.
Sounded like
It was delightfully odd.
It was sounded like a dying striped cow.
Yeah, that didn't sound right.
Like something weird. Okay. Anyhow, throw up this amazing image.
Delightfully odd.
A delightfully odd photo. But next week we're going to discuss how you can build a thermal swarm. And no, it doesn't look like this. So and cheap. So that's what
Cool.
we're going to talk about, and enhance it with the LiDAR radar. So that's what we're going to do next week. So
Just a
LiDAR and thermal infusion.
That was a delightfully odd teaser.
Yeah, it's just awesome. It was a little, and by the way, that's exactly what Bigfoots look like, and exactly you're going to have TVs,
Yeah.
little tiny TV monitors all over
Yeah.
the woods, and Bigfoot's not going to notice those.
Right. No, not at all.
Not
Just
at
going to
all.
walk right in, pose. Yeah.
He will know it's not a contest.
Right.
He'll know. Okay, let's do our. I think
Play some
Lon-
clips.
Yeah, let's just do our clips. They're
Play a few
kind of
clips.
fun. I want to explain. So part of them are just normal, kind of fun scientific clips. The last half are just fun clips.
Okay.
So you can expect after we get past the halfway mark, they're just to make us laugh.
I like laughing.
Okay, good. Let's hit it.
Play some clips.
Hello,
Okay.
Jeff.
This first one here.
What?
You said no sound, right?
Are you going to introduce them?
No.
You can.
That's okay.
No, you don't want
All
to.
good. I got enough to do here, man.
Not a clip. Not a clip. It's not a clip.
Not a
Clip
clip.
one is not a clip.
Not a clip.
It has no sound. But anyhow, people have been witnessing did I say odd objects on the moon for centuries, literally centuries. You can go back and read stuff from Greek mythology that they were witnessing lights and flashes and objects and all sorts of things on the moon. Because, sometimes the moon's visible with your naked eye really good,
Mm-hmm.
like certain times a year.
Sure.
All right. Anyhow, so this is a really cool clip, and I'd love to hear your comments on what you think it is. I pretty much can tell you it's not AI, so that's not really a guess. And so it's either, like a man-made satellite, a comet, something like that. Or it could be, an unidentified flying object.
Well, let's see.
I love the shadow.
Wow.
And they call this a transient lunar phenomena, TLP. There's an official name the government has for it.
That's odd.
It is. So what do you think it is? If you were a pet man, which I know you're not.
It's not. It's hard to.
I can't see it being a satellite because I don't think you'd have that kind of a long shadow.
No, it wouldn't be that unless it's a.
It would
Yeah,
be
it
more
doesn't.
blurred, right? It would be a little more blurred.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty low altitude, but
Correct.
there's no atmosphere, obviously. So I don't know. That's a strange one.
All right. I'm going to ask specific people. What do you think, Kenny? What do you think, Lee? What do you think, Tennessee? And Sly Fox. You guys got to write a comment. What do you think it is? All right. Clip number 2.
Okay.
Oh, you're going to play it on your own, huh?
I was going to play it again, but that's okay.
You were taking, what do they call that? You were taking creative license.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Delightfully odd.
Delightfully, yeah.
Delightfully
Anyhow,
odd,
by
not
the
a
way,
contest.
Alex used to crack me up. He always said, every time he used that word stroll, he would play clips and I'd say, well, what's that alligator doing? He'd go, it's strolling. It's like, Alex, alligators do not stroll.
Hey,
Anyhow,
mosey. I like the term mosey.
somehow I got a subscription to Stroll magazine. And I'm collecting them and give them all to Alex. Stroll magazine.
Stroll magazine. That,
Yeah.
okay.
Never looked in one. I don't want to know.
No, I probably best to not be too curious.
No. Clip 2, and this is a new monkey discovered in South America by none other than our own Mitt Meyer. It's a they call it a Mittermeier sake monkey, and they're really weird. You can play
Sake monkey?
Sake monkey. They drink sake.
Yeah.
This monkey was recently discovered. Pithecia mittermeieri, known as Mittermeier's sake, is one of the most recent and enigmatic monkey species discovered in the heart of the Amazon. It was officially described in 2014, and its discovery shook the world of primatology, a new primate species hiding in plain sight in the 21st century. This monkey stands out for its dark, dense fur and pale face, which give it an enigmatic and somewhat disturbing appearance. It lives in remote and inaccessible areas of the Brazilian Amazon rainforest, which explains why it went unnoticed for so long.
When you use the word disturbing, like, I'm done. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. Weird looking.
Yeah, I believe I've talked to Russ on the phone. Jeff Meldrum used to work with him.
Oh, okay.
Or know him. Yeah. All right, clip 3. Sound is good. This is a very weird thing. Have you ever heard of a boots hole?
Nope.
This is a new type of hole they found. It's 8 million light years across, devoid of stars and planets, but it's not a black hole.
Wow.
It doesn't suck stuff in. It's more like a cliff. Does that make sense?
That's bizarre. There's got to be something there causing that.
This is an actual photograph, by the way.
Wow.
There is a hole in the universe, a region so vast it swallows hundreds of millions of light years of space
Don't say swallow.
and gives nothing back. Astronomers call it the Bootes Void. A cosmic desert 300 million light years across, billions of times wider than our solar system, yet almost completely empty.
That's crazy.
No stars, no dust, no light. Just a silent darkness stretching through the cosmos like a wound in reality.
I bet it's got dust.
Only a few scattered galaxies drift within it. Tiny sparks lost in an endless sea of black. No one knows why this void exists. Some say it's a natural scar left by the universe's expansion. Others believe it's something stranger, a trace of another universe.
You know, it's
Weird.
8 million light years across.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, he says it's like sucks. No, it doesn't suck anything. Just
Yeah, there's just nothing there. I mean, there's got to be something there causing that. That's
Yeah, it's anti-gravity.
crazy. Yeah.
Oh, it's probably the stink zone or something. It smells bad. So it's Space's butthole.
Well, just an FYI, Boots is a constellation, so that name is just it's where it is. So it's in that constellation.
Yeah. I wasn't going to pronounce it like AI does wrong.
I think it's pronounced Boots. It's spelled Bootes. I think it's pronounced Boots.
Yeah, Boots. It's the E is. I don't think. It's AI. Anyhow, then clip 4. Now, this is something I had not heard of, underwater lightning, but it's kind of a thing. Or sort of.
Millions of you asked 2 things. Is this underwater lightning? And is this AI slop? This is real drone footage I filmed above one of the most active underwater volcanoes on Earth, Cavachi. And those white flashes, they are phreatomagmatic explosions, aka steam explosions. When superheated magma hits seawater, that water instantly vaporizes, expanding up to 1,700 times its size. That's a bathtub of seawater exploding into an Olympic-sized swimming pool instantly. Those violent steam blasts refract light, making it look like flashes beneath the surface. Easily one of the craziest things I've ever experienced.
Wow.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
All right. Do you think ants make noise, Jeff?
I don't know, but I bet we're going to find out.
Yeah, we are. Clip 5. Sound is good. Do ants make noise?
Let's see.
I found a red velvet ant and I put a microphone up next to it to see what it sounded like close up. Listen to this.
Like a bird.
Wow.
Now you know what an ant sounds like.
Now I know.
All right. What do we got here? 4 more clips, and we're going to bring Lon
Yeah.
Strickler on. All right, clip 6. The sound is good. I like old UFO clips because it was before AI. So you just kind of can eliminate that.
You know what? This one didn't come through. Hold on a second here.
What?
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
It's not that important. None of these are important.
Well, we're going to do this kind of the hard way here, but we can.
We don't need to. It's good.
I got it.
Oh, okay.
So,
So this is a very, very clear piece of footage. The government has studied it extensively. It was taken in 2005 and is considered one of the clearest UFO videos that exist. Go ahead and play it. And they got this thing at many different angles. And it's heading to your house, Jeff.
sure, why not?
It's dropping off a case of scotch.
I like scotch.
In 2005, that was the scotch you were drinking. Okay.
Enough of that?
Yeah. So you see that. What do? You film it. And you go,
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
and you go, okay. UFOs are real. But that wouldn't be something that would happen to you, Jeff. No.
Hasn't yet.
Oh, we're going to change that this
I'm
summer.
open-minded, but nothing. I haven't seen anything that weird yet.
I'm going to make you the biggest believer you ever.
I'm actually working on it. I have a theory. I'm not ready. It's not quite fully formed yet, but I have a theory about why it is. Well, I need to work on the theory a little bit more, but I have a theory.
A theory of what? Everything?
Why I haven't seen anything.
Oh, why you haven't seen it? It's probably because you have like some kind of weird blood or something.
Yeah, not quite. I have a theory. We'll talk about it.
Well, we'll talk about it.
It's not quite ready yet.
All right, clip 8. The sound is good. This is okay. This is cute now, funny, and I was cracking up. I don't know why. So we'll see if it has that effect on you.
Clip 8.
Yeah, clip 8.
Okay.
Did you know a full moon is perfect for a werewolf to come out? I'm gay. I went to the bookshop today and asked if they had any books about turtles. They said hardbacks. I said, yep, with little heads. Just when you thought food couldn't make a phone call, boom, onion rings. Three ladies were sat in a park when a man runs over in a trench coat and flashes them. Two of the ladies had a stroke, the other couldn't reach.
Okay.
Wow. I'm glad that guy's not funny.
Think the unthinkable with an iceberg. What's better than eating a mandarin? We'll try again.
It'll be fun,
What's
Jeff.
better than eating a
Okay, let's
mandarin?
move now.
Eating a mandal. Did you know a full moon is perfect for a werewolf?
Okay.
We got to do that with like you and Eric or something. And we'll have a reward that you guys. And I'll tell bad dad jokes.
That's a bad one.
And I'll film it.
Jokes weren't even that good, but their reactions were great.
Yeah, the reactions are awesome. All right, the next one is let's see, clip 9. Sound is
9.
good. And this is just a regular guy, and I've done this. I'll tell my story. I did the stupidest, most embarrassing thing one day, and I was young when I did it. But just play clip 9. I'll share my embarrassing story.
I'm sorry, what?
I can go ding the dong tomorrow. Honey, ding the dong. It means from dig to dong in the morning, all night long. You've never heard of that?
No, nobody has.
Yeah, honey, I didn't just make it up. Ding the dong.
I did it too. You made it up.
I did. I swear to God.
This way.
From dusk to dawn.
Ding to dong.
That's what I meant.
Big difference.
It just came out ding.
From ding to dawn.
Ding to dong.
I'm sorry, what?
I can go.
Okay.
Jeez.
So I went to the car wash. You know, you're just waiting in line, and do you remember those full service car wash? They were probably more popular in the old days. And someone would go, you know, what do you want? And I go, I swear to God, I want a wash and a walks.
Yeah, we all do it.
You know how embarrassed
Tongue tied.
Do you know how embarrassed I was?
It's funny.
Oh God! So anyhow, one day Yvette, she was teasing me about that, and then she did something just as stupid, and I rode her on that, and then I did something stupid, and she just rode me on it. Clip 10. It sounded good. This is like the worst joke of the year. I picked this because it's the worst joke of 2025. Go ahead.
Did you hear the news? A man addicted to cocaine has accidentally snorted his grandma's ashes. Apparently, he snorted half a gram. Did you hear the news?
Yeah.
That's the worst joke of 2025.
Pretty bad. Yeah, I agree. That's not a great joke.
Oh, and then there's one more clip. It's
One more.
Clip 11. These
Okay.
are the most amusing laughs that I could find of 2025.
Okay.
Just the weirdest and most amusing.
Don't drop them.
What the hell is that?
Everyone but run.
Sit bait. Done.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That's the end.
All righty.
That's the best
Moving
I could
on.
do. That's the best I could do. All right. I'm ready to. If you see me toss my mouse across the room, you'll know why. All right. Our guest tonight, Lon Strickler. Lon Strickler is a. Now, how do you say this? Is it Fortean?
I think so.
Fortean.
That's how I would say it's Fortean.
It's based on Charles Fort's work. That I do know.
Sure.
He's a Fortean researcher, which means he covers like everything weird.
Yeah.
Like he probably really enjoyed our weird and fast news. He didn't get to see. He's an author. He's a publisher of syndicated Phantoms and Monsters blog, which is also a podcast.
A prolific author. He's written a lot of books.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to get into that. Yeah, he began his blog in 2005. I thought it was way longer ago than that, which has steadily grown. That's 20 years. Has steadily grown in popularity and is read daily by tens of thousands of paranormal enthusiasts and investigators and those seeking the truth. His research and reports have been featured on hundreds of online media sources Several of these published reports have been presented on various television segments, including the History Channel's Ancient Aliens, Sci-Fi's Paranormal Witness, Fact or Faked, Paranormal Files, and Destination America. And they do Monsters and Mysteries in America. I used to like that show. He has been interviewed on hundreds of radio and online broadcasts, including multiple guest appearances on Coast to Coast AM. He was also featured on Destination America's Monsters and Mysteries in America's television show, The Sykesville Monster. Okay, so he's written 9 books. I don't even know how anybody can even do one.
My mind is going slow. I just can't find the time to work on it.
It's a lot of work. But
It is a lot
Lon
of work.
was, and I feel sorry for Lon because he was born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania. I'm joking. I wish I was there, near the Gettysburg National Military Park and
Never
Battlefield.
been there. That's my bucket list.
Yeah, mine too. After living in Baltimore, Maryland metro area for 40 years, he eventually moved back to his hometown in 2016. So welcome, Lon.
Welcome, Lon. Wait, should I disclaim him first?
No, you don't need to disclaim.
Don't need to disclaim Lon? Okay.
Nah,
You
don't disclaim.
No disclaiming. Here we go.
No
Welcome, Lon.
disclaiming of you, Lon. You're free of disclaiming.
There he is. Hi, Lon.
I don't think you can hear. Lon, can you
Hello,
hear us?
Lon. Test. Yep, I can hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yep, I can
Oh.
hear you.
Yeah, but he can't hear us, Jeff.
Okay.
So just can you hear? I'll text him. Let's get
Maybe he's got to
reboot.
reboot or check his
Isn't that
headphones.
weird that got me and him?
Yeah.
And the reboot cured it. So take Lon off.
Can show off some of his book covers while we're waiting here.
Yeah, we'll do that. Reboot your computer.
So here we got Mothman Dynasty, Chicago's Winged Humanoids.
Yep.
And let's see here. These showed up as his most popular ones here. Then we've got, let's see here, what else?
Winged Cryptids.
Winged Cryptids, Humanoids, Monsters, and
I don't know.
Anomalous Creature Casebook.
All right, I'm going to go. Just let me go for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Go through his books.
And then let's see what else we got here. Alien Disclosure, Experiencers Expose Reality, and The Meme Humanoids, Modern Myths or Real Monsters by Lon Strickler, author of Winged Cryptids. Well, while we're waiting for those guys to come back, who's got some good questions in the audience here? I like talking to the audience. What do you guys want to know? What do you want to talk about while we're waiting? I saw that too. Lon was watching football over his shoulder. I saw that too. What else? So Baltimore. I've been to Baltimore. I was just there recently.
Lon is rebooting.
Rebooting? Okay.
Yeah, I can just sit back and let you talk.
I got nothing to talk about.
I didn't
Just
know
kinda-
he did a book on alien disclosure. That's really cool.
Yeah, these popped up as his 4 most popular books.
Wow. Keep going.
So yeah, I can go through them again here.
Some of
So
his books.
this is the one kind of.
This is his bestseller. This
Yeah,
is
Mothman
for
Dynasty.
sure it's his bestseller. Mothman Dynasty.
And the Winged Cryptids one.
Yeah.
And
you
this
have
one
to
looked interesting.
You have to understand this Mothman has kind of been a catch-all phrase.
Right.
And it covers all of these winged humanoids, which in most cases do not have like a feather-like look to them. They're more like stretched bat skin. They look more like bats.
Yeah, they're definitely more bat-like than bird-like from everything that I've heard.
Yeah, more gargoyle-like. I mean, they have everything from pointed ears to wings that don't flap. They seem to fly without flapping their wings. They can defy gravity. So it's very, very, I don't know. They're just weird. When you see one, you're just like, you cannot believe what you just saw. because they cannot exist. I have a feeling everything's going to work good with our little reboot.
All right. Let's see. Welcome back, Lon. All right. Can you hear us now?
Lon?
Still nothing?
Oh, no.
Lon, can you hear us? Check. Nothing?
No, can't hear us. Let me get him on the phone. Let me mute.
Okay. I'll take him off while you talk to him. All right. Let's look at some comments here. That's interesting. So you said here Mothman may be an archangel. Is anybody in the audience seen a Mothman? It's not something we talk about a lot. Let's see here. Another interesting theory. I heard Mothman was a byproduct of a Native American curse placed on the land after a massacre. Interesting. What else? Steamboat. The pterodactyl I saw had, I'm guessing, bat wings for sure. Anybody else got any good Mothman comments? Let's see here. Another one. Mothman legend says it is seen before a disaster occurs. Never seen. I've never seen one either. So, but I have talked at length to people that have. And who knows, man? I like I said, I'm open-minded. I'm willing to, Sly Fox, same thing. I'm like you, Jeff. I ain't seen diddly squat. Yeah, I just haven't seen anything weird. Don't know why. I'm sure open to it. I'm always looking for stuff. I'm pretty observant. I know the woods pretty good. Just haven't seen anything. All right. So watch the movie. It's good. Mothman Prophecies. I have not seen that. I need to see that. I have heard it's pretty good. Okay. I'm trying to think of something else to say. Nothing worse than dead space or dead air. Anybody else got some comments? Misidentified pterodactyl? Maybe, but from what I've seen, they're more humanoid. I don't know. It's kind of pretty standard. Seems like they've seen, they're reported as being pretty humanoid. All right. Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot. I haven't seen any beings, but had many unexplained experiences. Yeah, I really haven't either. I haven't seen nothing that was too weird that wasn't plausibly just something, something kind of normal. Steamboat. I'm open-minded to all. Know after I have melanistic leopards in my woods and a pterodactyl flew over me and I got chased by the ape-shifting creature.
I'm the worst tech ever.
Me? You?
Yeah,
Me?
No, I am.
Oh.
Well, you should be able to pop him on any second here.
Okay. Brandon just asked, are there moth women? That's an interesting question. Maybe Lon has an answer to that.
How do we know they're not all women?
Could be.
Why do we call them men? Well, about wolf, we say dog men. They could be dog women.
All right. Lon, you there?
Lon?
Can you hear us, Lon? Nope. Nothing still?
Nope. I heard your sound blasting over his speakers
Weird.
while I had him on the phone, which is
weird. Maybe it's a problem with his headphones? Are the headphones screwing him up?
Lon, take your headphones off if you can hear us. Take your headphones off.
Or unplug them maybe? Or is there a volume setting on them?
Oh, man.
Weird.
You know what got me? Because you go, should we do a camera test? And I go, nah, Lon, podcast. That got me. It's called Murphy.
That's what we get.
You get Murphy's Law.
No, I can't. Oh, I can hear you, Lon. Yes. We can hear you.
I gotcha. Everything's good. Back to normal.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great. We're all good now. Good.
Yeah.
Welcome, Lon.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
We were doing the show. We were talking about Mothman before you got on. So we're all warmed up. The audience is warmed up. And I have given them my testimony of what I saw. So, and in fact, Lon was the guy that I trusted with the info because I was too embarrassed to go public with it.
Mhm.
You remember that, Lon?
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to tell you this story, but you can't tell anybody. Can't publish it. Anyhow, so how long have you been actually interested in the Mothman phenomena?
Actually, I have been interested in it ever since I've been involved with the paranormal, but I didn't really get interested into it until I had my own encounter.
Do you want to tell that real quick so the audience
Yeah, that
knows?
that was October 1988. I was living in Baltimore at the time, and I was at the old Timonium Fairgrounds north of town, and I was actually antiquing. And there was a Boy Scout get together. There was some type of thing going on, but it had a bunch of different troops there. And it just happened to be some of the troops from when I used to live at up near Gettysburg. So what happened was I saw my buddy who I used to hang out with in high school, and I was in Boy Scouts with him as well. And I hadn't seen him in about a dozen years. So what happened was we started talking. We sat down, got some lunch and such. And he had actually gone out to the Gettysburg battlefield with me when we were kids. And we used to, hike. We used to hike in there and camp at nighttime when you could get in there at night. He knew all about me being involved with the paranormal. But he asked me, he said, "Are you still involved with the paranormal?" I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Look," he said, another scout leader and I are going to be going up to old Camp Conawago next weekend. You want to come along?" I said, "Well, what's going on?" He said, "Well, all through the summer, these troops have been camping out there in the woods, and they've been run out because they've been hearing this screaming sound coming from west of the camp. And it was scaring them. And it happened like 5 or 6 times that summer. So, since it was October, those guys decided, well, we're going to go out and see what's going on." So I thought, okay, well, I'll come along. So next Friday night, I met them up there. And we hiked into the woods, set up camp, got the tents and everything set up. We were right beside the Conawago Creek with the trail between us and the Conawago Creek. And we had all our tents set up, all ready to go. It was about 6 in the evening, just starting to get dark. And what happened was we were just sitting around the campfire, not doing much of anything since it was just too late to go do any walking around. So we stayed up for quite a while. I guess we were about 10:30 or so. And we decided we were about ready to go to sleep. And we did, and we sat there a while and thought, well, we're definitely going to bed now. We got a long day tomorrow. We're going to go into the woods and go nosing around, see what we could find out. So next morning we woke up, and the other guy who was with us asked, "Did you guys hear anything walking through the campsite?" And I had. I thought one of those guys got up to relieve themselves or something in the woods, but I didn't pay no mind. But nothing was disturbed in the campsite, so we didn't think anything of it. So what happened was we took the whole day. We were walking through the woods, hiking, and just looking around the area. There's a state game land there as well. But honestly, we didn't see or hear much of anything. So we got back to the campsite several hours later. I guess it was around 6 again. It was just starting to get dark. We cooked some dinner, and we're sitting around talking football and whatever. And so about 10:30 or so, we heard this scream coming from the west of us. Now, it didn't sound like much to me. It sounded just like an animal scream or something, but I didn't think much of it.
Loud?
It was loud, but it wasn't, it wasn't anything that I haven't heard before, So we thought, well, we're going to stay up a while yet. So we did. And we were sitting around. I guess about midnight or so, we heard it. And we heard this real terrible scream. I mean, it sounded like a woman screaming bloody murder. It really did. It was pretty shocking. And it sounded like this thing, whatever it was moving, either running through the woods or flying in the air, because you get that kind of Doppler effect, like it's going in and out.
Yeah.
So we decided, well, we're staying up tonight. This thing's out there and we're going to stay up. So we were sitting around the campfire just waiting for something to happen, still talking. It had to have been about 1 o'clock or so. And I got up to stretch my legs. And I walked out to the trail. And I just had that weird feeling like something was watching us. You just get that feeling that something's just not right. But anyway.
You had kind of the sense we were just talking about on our news. That's sixth sense.
Yeah, or seventh sense. Even.
Well, yeah. I'm intuitive anyway, so I pick up on a lot of different things. But I couldn't really tell what this was. So anyway, I walked back to the campsite, and I told those guys, I said, "Why don't we go out and get our flashlights, go out on the trail, and go up, go west and see what's going on." So we did. So we got out on the trail back to back to back, and we didn't get 50 feet, 100 feet away from the campsite. We saw this thing, and it was standing in the creek, and the creek was really low that time of year. The moonlight was really bright as well, so we could see deep into the woods, but we could definitely see into the creek. And this figure was standing in the creek, but the thing that caught our attention right away was the red eyes that were projecting light. It looked like taillights. It really did.
Wow.
And this thing was probably about 6 foot or so. But by the time we got the flashlights on it, it literally jetted itself up into the air. And it was like a whooshing sound. Didn't spread its wings out. Didn't spread any wings out or anything. And it just took off. And when it got to its apex, it started screaming and started flying towards the west and, flew away. Well, we were hauling butt back to the campsite, and my buddy, he was sitting there. He wasn't talking. He was freaked. He didn't know what we saw. So the other guy and I were talking, and he told me, he said, "Did you see anything on its back?" I said, "Yeah, it looked like it had wings folded behind the back because it was like coming over top of it.
Right.
It was large wings.
But they never opened.
But they never opened up.
Yeah.
So my buddy finally started talking, and he told us, "I'm not staying here tonight. I'm going up to the administration building and sleep up there." So him and the other guy went up to the administration building and slept. And I stayed at the campsite. I wanted to see this thing again, but nothing ever happened. They came back in the morning and we left. I didn't really talk about that a whole lot. I told a couple friends of mine, I told a couple colleagues about it, but I didn't really mention a whole lot about it. Almost 20 years later, it was 17 years. I started writing the blog. And I had already posted something about my Bigfoot encounter a couple of months before that. But I just said, well, let me go ahead and see if anybody has ever seen this thing out there, because I'm kind of curious. So I did. I wrote a post, put in there what had happened. About a week later, I got a phone call from a guy who lived near there. And he told me, I've been hearing that damn screaming sound for 20 years. And I never had figured out what it was. You think it's what you heard? I said, I don't know. Think it's what you saw. I had no idea. But maybe a couple of days later, I got another phone call. And it was from a scout leader who told me, he said, my troop and I were out at Camp Conawago a couple weeks ago. And it was a Saturday afternoon, and the boys were on the trail just hiking and messing around like boys do. And they came running back to the campsite crying and screaming and saying, "Oh, we saw a dragon. We saw a dragon out on the trail." Well, he thought they were pulling his leg, but they were serious. So he didn't know what to think about it. Now they stayed another day. They never heard any screaming sounds, but he thought they were just pulling his leg. Well, then he read my encounter, and he said, "You think that might have been it?" I said, "Well, it could have been, but you never know." Well, as time went on, as the years went by, I've had 5 more sightings along Conewago Creek of this same thing. Now, it's not necessarily right there at Conewago Creek. It was as the creek goes east and empties into the Susquehanna. It's about a 20-25 mile stretch. But the sightings had, I had been collecting sightings from people, and there have been 5 other ones. And we've had other Mothman or winged humanoid sightings in this area as well. So, there's a lot that goes on around here, but that's my sighting. Now, the interesting thing to me is what we saw matched very closely to what's been going on out in Chicago all these years, almost to the T. Very emaciated looking, 6 foot, large wings. I couldn't tell if they were bat-like wings, but the red eyes and this thing jettisoning itself without using its wings. And that's what we have been hearing from Chicago. People were saying this thing was flying without flapping its wings. It would put them out,
Right.
but it would gain speed without flapping the wings.
Yeah.
So, so now 184 sightings that we believe are legitimate sightings in the Chicagoland area. That's where we are, though we haven't had a new sighting or real-time sighting since the spring of last year.
They go in flaps, don't they?
They do. I mean, while we were, the first year with 2011, there was 3 sightings and it went dark for like 6 years. But 2017, it just picked up. We had 50 sightings from March of 17 up until October.
But that kind of bodes to a real creature, because if there's 1 or 2 creatures that are in an area, you're going to have sightings. And if they leave and go to a new area, they're going to quit. Because if it was imaginary, people are going to imagine them all year, whether they're there. You know what I mean? The fact it just completely goes to zip, 0. That's important.
Yeah. So, I don't know if it's going to start back up or not. I'm still getting old sightings coming into me, but people find out that these sightings are occurring, and then they get a hold of me and let me know what they had seen years ago and describe it. But they're, people are still interested in it. I'm still taking reports. When we did the Netflix special on Unsolved Mysteries back in, it was aired in August of 24, people were sending in reports coming into the production company, worldwide reports, and they collected like 130 reports in 4 or 5 years. So they sent them to us. So 30 of those.
Was that the show where they reenacted a car being like so freaked out at the driver where they they rolled the car?
No, it wasn't that.
That wasn't that one.
No, this was in August of 24 in the I think it was the 3rd season, but it was the first show of the 3rd season of the Unsolved Mysteries. It was titled Mothman Revisited.
No, I was describing that Monsters and Mysteries in America.
Oh, okay.
There was a reenactment in that show that really got to me somehow, because they were just driving, because that's what we were doing when this thing dived at us. And I think about how close I came to maybe myself spinning out or what, because I tried to duck in my car.
Oh, I know. You told me. Almost everybody invariably does it. They duck, figuring this thing's going to hit the windshield or whatever. But
okay. Well, let's talk about that. Is that a thing where they dive at cars? I don't think we've ever
I've had
about
a lot of those sightings. Not necessarily in Chicago. We had 1 or 2, but worldwide, I mean, they seem to get a thrill out of diving at cars. I've had people tell me that they were coming head on to them, and as soon as they get close to the car, they veer up and
It veered upwards.
Yeah.
That's what happened to us. And I'm just wondering, what do you think? And I know that you've talked to, I know you're looking for answers. I remember at one time you were talking to even psychics. Why are they doing this? What is the reason, right?
We never had a reason. We've never been able to figure out a reason why.
Other than to scare a person. It does that. It definitely accomplishes that.
But, you know, the sightings are very fleeting, very quick. You know, most of the time it's no more than a couple seconds or so. Even in the middle of the city, they show themselves and they just disappear. And we've had people tell us that they've literally seen these things manifest like through an invisible doorway and vice versa, where they just, they just disappear.
Have you ever had a report, Lon, of one seen it in the sky and then just seen it suddenly drop straight down like ours did? It dropped straight down like it was on a spider web and then stopped abruptly and then came towards our windshield.
Yeah, very similar to what other people have been saying about these things diving. Yeah, we had one, which I remember was just near the Indianapolis airport. And the woman was driving. She had two friends in the back seat, and this thing just literally dropped out of the sky. And it dove toward it, and by the time she saw it, it veered back up. But it had red eyes. She got a good look at it.
See, I didn't see any eyes glowing. I wished I would have, because that would have driven me right over the edge, Lon. I don't think I would have recovered if I would have seen its eyes glowing. That really would have freaked me out. But I saw it, its eyes were just black, just round black. They didn't even, they reflected light, but they didn't glow at all. There was no whites. I just saw black. And I definitely saw little smaller pointed ears, and a very human-like face. Almost like you'd imagine a gargoyle.
Exactly. That's what people, when people try to tell us what they look like, it's either a gargoyle or a Jeepers Creepers creature from the movies.
Right.
Or,
Now, they did nail the look. Finally, I saw that movie about, somebody actually sent me the movie to make me watch it about 7-8 months ago. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what Dakota. But what did you ever look at the whole gargoyle mystery? Like, what was that all about? They were putting gargoyles on all these buildings.
In Chicago, I don't know.
Everywhere, Chicago especially.
There were a lot of people commenting around the same time this was going on about all these gargoyles people were seeing in Chicago. I mean, but they weren't animate. I mean, they were just like either small statues and stuff, but they were putting them all over the city. I never found out what that was all about. So I don't know, but I remember back in 2017, early 2018, people were talking about these gargoyles showing up. These inanimate, or I don't know what they were.
God, so do you remember that old movie? I think it was called Gargoyles, wasn't it, one? I remember seeing that when I was really young, and I don't remember much about the movie, but I remember it scared me as a youngster. It just so it seemed so real. Meaning, when you see these things, seems, I know it's weird, but it seems natural, like they exist, like they've existed forever. It's not like you're surprised what they look like, you're just surprised you got to see one.
Exactly.
If that makes sense at all.
And that's why we never get pictures, because by the time people realize, they see this thing, they're not thinking about grabbing a phone out of their pocket, and by the time they would, this thing would be gone anyway.
Right.
We've had some indiscernible photographs of at distance, but nothing to where we get a really good look at it.
Jeff, I sent you one from 1966. And obviously it could be a whatever. It's not really a great picture, but I just thought it was interesting.
Well, that's an owl.
Oh, okay. So I was just going to say, how close is that to the camera?
That's an owl with a snake in its talons.
Perfect.
Now we know.
Well, it was it was a hoax perpetrated by the.
They
knew it was.
somebody saw it. They knew what it was, but it was, since it was a backlit, they could, they saw the form, but didn't really think beyond. Well, it had been a Mothman. So
yeah.
But no, that was actually now.
And then, so it's they were claiming it's old. It wasn't old.
Yeah.
I got you.
And in fact, I think that was photographed near Philadelphia, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
Kenny has sent it to me. Just thought since we were doing it on Mothman, he'd noticed it on Facebook and shot it my way, and I just sent it to Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody asked it's actually a great question. He goes, how do we know they're men, these Mothmen? They could be women, they could be female, or they could be no sex. Have you heard reports of?
If you have, if you read something I posted yesterday, we had a bit of controversy with this back in 2021, where several of our team members, and me included, were contacted by one of these beings. Now, hear me out.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Well, this being was going by the name of Uru, U-R-U, spelled the name out for us. And I've got a bit of psychic ability, but I have two other psychics on the team who were actually, one in particular who was actually contacted by this thing. And she was telling me what she was sensing. I was seeing the same thing. We never could figure out what was really going on. All we could do was just take bits of information that were coming to us. I have done several remote views on this myself and with other members of another organization. We didn't get a whole lot with the RV, but this Uru actually gave us some insight as to where they come from. Now, this is just what we got, but I think it has to be real because the people who were involved with it were getting the same messages. Some would get them during the day, some would get them at night, some would dream about them. And none of us talking to each other about it until we actually had to, I had everybody write down what they saw and sensed. And it was exactly, and in fact, two of us got the name right. Uru was the name that came to us. So, but what happened was after about 2 weeks of this inconsistent communication, it just quit all of a sudden. Now, you asked about females.
Right.
For what we were told, they live in a matriarchal society. In other words, the females run the show. And that all these creatures...
It's the same as here.
Yeah, honestly. And that when they... what these beings are that are coming onto our earth plane from another dimension, the dimension where they reside at, they're all males. They're young males. And it's part of an initiation type thing. That's the kind of indication I got. It was like an initiation thing, but it's something they had to do. I never did get a chance to figure out what it was. But, I've gone about it with several people and people on the team, and none of us really have any idea what they had done. That's why I occasionally will do an RV to try to see if I could connect with these things. But the last RV we did was May of 2023. Now, like I said, I did post on Phantoms of Monsters I did a full disclosure of everything we picked up during the time we were communicating with it. I figured it was time to do so because I kept having people talk to me about it, asking me what had happened, because I had mentioned it before.
Right.
So I made up my mind just about the middle of last week that I'm going to go ahead and do a full disclosure of it.
Well, you have nothing to lose. I mean,
yeah, maybe somebody did have a connection with it somehow, and it'll get back to me. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, so that's why I did it. So
it's kind of like, what can it hurt, right?
Right.
They obviously want to communicate because they wouldn't dive at our cars if they didn't want to communicate.
Yeah, I never do understand why they did that, but it's probably a shock thing or something. I don't know.
Well, I would imagine there's a lot of crazy things out there that would feed on energy, just life form energy, and feeling fear might be a way they feed.
Yeah,
or
maybe.
Or in my case, I was producing. I was doing right in the middle of the Monster Quest seasons, and I refused. I actually got in arguments with the History Channel. I did not want to do Mothman because there's no physical evidence to work with. What am I going to work with? Right. I can't just do it on just eyewitness reports. I have to apply some science.
Yeah.
When I saw it.
Then you saw it.
And then I saw it. I went, okay, we'll figure out some science. And we did.
Yeah.
I put my mind to it, and we did figure it out. We did do the show on Winged Humanoids, and it worked out really good. We did we built a like a wooden plywood cutout so people could determine the size based on their reports to see how accurate humans were on guessing size. So they would have them drive by a dark road, and we'd have this thing, and they had to then jot down what they thought the size was, right, to see how accurate people were. And then we flew something, and we built a Mothman kite, and we flew that to see once again, can you determine size when there's no surrounding objects? So we did things like that. So there we go. So there is science that can be done. It's not a lot. We don't have footprints. We don't have, skin or hair to analyze.
Yeah, the only thing we ever got were footprints, and
you did
footprints in the snow. Yeah, we got there were some pretty wild looking things. I mean, they weren't all consistent, but they were very long, very thin. It looked like it had two toes and a dew toe in the back, but the length was about 13, 14 inches, but it wasn't really wide at all. Now, we did have another person in Chicago who had wet footprints on a sidewalk they took pictures of, and it looked like a huge turkey foot, like it splayed out, but it was like 16 inches wide.
Wow.
So that wasn't no turkey. So, there had been sightings around there. So, as far as evidence goes, we just really haven't had a whole lot of anything, really. And
except eyewitnesses.
All anecdotal.
That's it. I mean, it's still it's important evidence when you get that many of them.
Yeah.
You get 184 witnesses, and they're all kind of describing the same.
Well, those are witnesses we thought were legitimate because they were telling us about the same thing they saw.
And they had no idea. In other words, they sought you out after they saw something that looked like a monster or whatever, and then they looked up the phenomena and they got a hold of you.
Yeah.
And these are just regular people. You had, like, as I remember, you had baggage handlers at O'Hare. Did you ever get a pilot at O'Hare that saw one of these?
Two pilots,
yeah. And they're
we had two pilots, 4 air traffic control people who went out on a break and saw it in the parking lot. One of the trans drivers coming from the terminal, and probably a dozen cargo handlers.
Well, that's a lot.
And truck drivers as well, and security, TSA. In fact, the first sighting we got of from a person at O'Hare was a TSA agent.
That's fascinating. Let's see. Nick had asked, Doug, did you slow down when you saw the Mothman? Could it have been a warning? It seemed to have, warned of doom. Well, here, let me mention this. damn near the exact spot where we had our sighting, right out of Cloquet, they had a flood that summer, and it washed out all the bridges. Now, these were not giant bridges that caused people to die, but it was still a flood, and still many, many bridges got wiped out. So I found that interesting.
Yeah. When this all first started heavy back in 2017, I was literally having people who had not had sightings, but knew about the Mothman or talked to people about the Mothman. And I had people calling me in the middle of the night, 24/7 for about 2 months, wondering what was going to happen in Chicago since these Mothman sightings have been going on.
Right.
And I tried to tamp it down as much as I could because, first of all, I don't believe in the whole harbinger thing. I think, most of the people who claimed seeing these things before something happened were always after the fact. The only instance that I know of it even comes close to people knowing about seeing a creature before a disaster was at Chernobyl with the Blackbird Chernobyl sighting, where the people in Pripyat who lived in the town that was near the reactor had been noticing this huge black bird-like creature flying above the reactor. And that happened for like 3 days prior to the actual meltdown. So, but that's the only one. There have been other people just like.
Did you hear that there was a Mothman sighting at the 35W bridge that went down?
Yeah.
I mean,
in Minneapolis.
Yeah, in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I mean, but I heard, again, we heard it after the fact. I mean,
right. Yeah, exactly. They could have made it up. I hear you.
Yeah, and all those that I have heard of were after the fact. I mean,
after the fact, anecdotals aren't that great unless you're really willing to fly out there and see them in person. You know what I mean? You can't do that.
Yeah.
I did because I was here in town, and I can vouch that they were very, very sincere on what they thought, and they didn't want to come forward because, they don't want to embarrass themselves. I didn't want to come forward. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's not you think Bigfoot's embarrassing to report. Oh my God, try to see a Mothman. See how you feel. It's way worse because it's just anatomically, it just doesn't make any sense.
That's why I never mentioned what I went through for 20 years. And when I started writing, then I said, well, I'm going to put it out there, see what I get. And I was shocked.
William Robinson asked Lon, very sincere question. He's also a doctor. He goes, does Lon think it could be a misidentified pterodactyl?
Or a pterosaur, something like that. We get pterosaur sightings. We do get a lot of pterosaur sightings.
I've heard a lot myself.
That looks like a pterosaur. But none of these were identified or, what they told us as being like a pterosaur body or the long beak or the spaded tail or whatever.
Yeah, the way the head is tucked back and so on.
Right. And, they were all humanoid like bodies as opposed to a large dinosaur or whatever a pterosaur is or what it was. But we do get pterosaur sightings worldwide.
Yeah. And that doesn't make sense either, right?
That's it doesn't make any sense.
Prehistoric animal. So, and all the pterosaur sightings I have heard and talked to, and I've talked to probably 20 of them at least. Yvette's a witness to a pterosaur many years ago. Yeah, many years ago. And everybody claims they just fly like you know what I mean? They're flying and they're up in the air and they don't go against physics.
Right.
Where what we saw went against all physics.
Absolutely.
It had its wings open and dropped straight down. Air cannot go through wings.
Yeah. The upper Midwest is probably the hottest spot for all types of different birds, bird-like or winged humanoid sightings. I mean, we get the winged humanoids, the pterodactyls, the pterosaurs, the thunderbird sightings, anywhere from I'd say from Ohio over into Minnesota. I mean, and up into Wisconsin and Michigan. That area is rife with these type of sightings.
So, okay, really good question. Are they all black, or what do they look like? Do they have? Do you ever get reports of hair or fur or feathers on these things?
Yeah, we've had them with different types of wings, insectoid type wings, the owl-like wings. Even some of them had owl heads on them. They were huge and had owl heads on them. But I'd say 90% of what we get are the emaciated body, dark body, skin, kind of shiny, like an exoskeleton, or it's wet.
It was really shiny.
And, the large membrane wings that look like that of a gargoyle of a bat. And the heads are somewhat small. And of course, the eyes, not all the time are the red eyes. We've had different color eyes, actually. We've had green and blue reported, not many, but a few. And some of them have a ray that comes over the top, almost like a pterosaur.
Do you have any pictures, Lon, of like their faces that you could send Jeff through like Messenger or just your text?
I had some artist renderings. I can't get to them now. They're on the other computer.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
But
is there a place you can direct them where they can find those things?
They can go to they can go on the blog and search for them. I mean, anything that there was one post, but it's an older post because I did change the website. What I can do for you, I'll go ahead and send some to you, and then you can put them up at another.
Yeah,
time.
Jeff is going to go to your website right now and just.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
But we had an artist do some renderings of it from the descriptions we got, and they're pretty interesting. And in fact, if you go to my Twitter or my X feed, on the top of my page on X, it's Phantom Monster is the name. On the top, there's one drawing there. In a residential area, this thing is standing, and that was based on a sighting that someone gave us.
What about language? Somebody asked about language. Is it like a foreign language? Is it?
The only thing we've ever heard were clicking sounds coming from the thing that people had described. No language. No voice or anything.
Clicking. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
God, that's creepy.
Sound. And
that's like the movie.
We had multiple sightings just outside of O'Hare, the southwest side of O'Hare, which is Bensonville. We had several sightings there, and almost everybody who had seen it said this thing would be sitting somewhere and clicking, like it was echolocating what's in front of it.
Yeah, right.
Almost like a bat would do.
Oh, yeah, right. Exactly.
So, we got that. But, the only the communication we got was all done telepathically. I mean, or something that we'd pick up on.
I have a really important question to ask you. Sly Fox asked about what about hums, vocalizations? And I want to specifically ask about, have you got any reports of people hearing any kind of a hum associated with these creatures at all?
No, not that I can recall.
Okay. Well, if you ever hear anybody that says, oh, we had this like itching in our ears and we were hearing this like hummingbird wing sound, let me know.
Okay.
Let me know.
I will.
And do you think there's anything? I mean, most people jump to angels and demons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, everybody jumps to demons. I believe in angels personally, but I don't. I think they're otherworldly beings or extraterrestrial or possibly ultra-terrestrial beings.
Okay, what is? I love that word, ultra-terrestrial, because Jeff, that's what I am. That's how I have those 12-fingered touches. See my 12? I got 6 fingers in each hand.
Your 11 senses?
Yeah, my 11. Yeah, no, it's 12.
13. Baker's does. 13.
But that word ultra-terrestrial really is cool.
It's basically an ultra-terrestrial is a being, but it's got a supernatural aspect to it to where it can move in and out of different realities or dimensions. And it's almost really anything. As far as a being, I consider cryptids for the most part as ultra-terrestrials, because I think they do move in and out. I think they move from our Earth plane to other realities and other dimensions as well.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. It's just, I probably think about my sighting once a week at minimum.
Really?
Yeah, because it just pops in your head, and then you have to think about it. You got to relive the whole thing, and you got to think, God, can I remember any new details? No. Then you go, why did we get to see that? What was the reason? You know what I mean? Is there some hidden message there? Is there blah, 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 blah? Then you go through the whole line of thinking in your brain.
I think about it all the time because I had my encounter, and I always wondered why I was seeing it. Then when we started getting all these reports out of Chicago, and our team was probably the only team looking into this thing. It's almost like I was directed to do that. I think there's a connection there. I really do. I think there's a connection as to why I got so involved with this. And I don't know.
Okay. All right. So I ended up doing a Mothman show that was seen by probably by now, I would have to say about 40 to 50 million people.
Right.
Okay. So is that possibly they know that we have access to some media, or we're going to get motivated to get into the media, and they kind of know the future, and so they go after the people that can affect them? I don't know.
It may be. I think there is a visceral connection between them and us for some reason.
But I'm like, oh shit! I'm the Monster Quest guy who just saw a monster. That's not good.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I
know.
Take it for what you got, and the opportunity to see something like I find myself believe I'm just lucky to have had the encounters I have had, not knowing at the time when they happened that I would be doing what I'm doing.
And you had. I still tell everybody. I know a lot of people still have not heard. You had the best Bigfoot encounter on the planet.
It was crazy.
It was nuts. The whole thing that surrounded it before, after, that whole mystery afterwards has got to haunt you to death.
Well, occasionally somebody who was involved with the authorities and did the search at the time I had the encounter, once in a while, one will get a hold of me and say, I'll vouch for it. The only thing is that when that happened was, there's no record of it with any of the authorities that showed up, even Sykesville police, who I made a report to, which was interesting because that's why Monsters and Mysteries came to us to do the episode, because there was just no record of it. But people were coming forward and talking about it. And, and I knew some of the people who had the encounters the early encounters with the Sykesville monster back in the 70s when, and I had known nothing about that when I had my encounter, which was 7 or 8 years later.
Well, we're going to have you talk about that. I want to ask, people don't seem to be ready to let go of Mothman quite yet. Have there been any sightings during the day, like broad daylight, middle of the afternoon? Is that rare, or is that just as common?
No, it's we thought it was rare early on, but we started getting more sightings during the day. I'd say there's probably more night sightings, but there have been some pretty consequential daylight sightings as well.
Have there been anybody claiming harm?
I had one person.
Really?
But that came third hand. That came from a friend of a friend. And
can you tell us just briefly what they claimed?
Well, what happened was, it was in 2015. This couple who were actually Navajo, they had moved from Arizona to Chicago. and they were a middle-aged couple, and they were living in Chicago. They were driving down Pulaski Avenue, which is in South Chicago, and they were heading north, and they saw this thing. It dove at the car, and they didn't know what they saw. You know, being Navajo, first thing they thought was it was an omen or something, but they didn't know what to think about it. So they kept driving, and when they came to a stoplight or a stop sign, I don't know what the thing came down and tried to get into the passenger side window, and he took off. So they rushed home. I'd say it was about 15 minutes later, they got home. She was afraid to get out because she thought this thing would attack him. And he got out and looked around, didn't see anything. He told her it was safe to get out. They got out of the car and started running to the front porch, and this thing attacked her in the back. And now the guy who told me about it said that she had a huge laceration on her right shoulder, and they had to go to the hospital. I can't imagine what she told the doctor, but yeah, it was a pretty deep laceration.
And it's just, I mean, that sounds sincere. Who's going to just say, I think I'm going to make up a story about being lacerated and attacked on my porch?
You know, I've tried to get a hold of these people, and he did give me their contact information. They are real. But they never got back to me, and they just didn't want to talk about it.
I don't blame them. Any reports of them entering homes or seeing one in a bedroom or a living room?
People swear that they do manifest in homes. I've had a couple of reports where people will literally see the same described type winged humanoids with the red eyes would show up in bedrooms, show up in other parts of the house. I don't know if they're able to just manifest like that. I don't know, but I have had several reports.
Is this after a sighting outside? Like
no,
this just happened in their home.
Just happens in their home. They never had a sighting or heard anything about it, and just all of a sudden, and they see a report. You know, they come to me and say, "Well, you know, this was in my apartment bedroom, or I saw it at the window in my apartment, or whatever." I mean, but we've had several inside sightings and encounters.
Yeah, you're making my eyes water, Lon. I'm not joking. My eyes are starting to water.
Yeah,
you just get kind of weird.
There's just something about these beings that just isn't your regular cryptid. They definitely have supernatural abilities, but
What about making people sick, Lon? Like ill?
I have not heard of anything like that. The only way people have been affected by it was when they were very close to it, and that they would lose balance or lose the strength in their legs and fall to the ground. Yeah,
interesting.
I've had a couple of those.
So the father and son that had one right just north of ours.
Mm-hmm.
It dived at their car, and they both pulled over throwing up. Both of them. Father
really?
And the son
They
were
got
both
sick?
vomiting.
Yeah.
They were both vomiting.
Yeah, people say they do get a little nauseous. I haven't ever heard anybody throwing up unless they just want to tell me they did. But they people are physically affected by it. But as far as having an illness or anything as a result, no, I haven't heard that.
Gosh. Jeff?
Well, we talked before that infrasound or vibrations could be a way of them flying without flapping wings. That's kind of how bees work. Bees don't really fly by flapping their wings. That's a possible explanation.
Yeah, they've actually don't they get footage of them just hovering without flapping their wings? I think.
Yeah, bees. It's pretty much acknowledged now that bees fly with vibrations and
those bumblebees.
Bumblebees. They don't fly with aerodynamics. They fly with vibration. So who knows?
These winged humanoids, people see them just suspended in the air without flapping.
But now you know why I asked you about the hum.
Right.
That's one of the reasons.
I haven't heard that, but I don't know. I don't really. Nobody has ever mentioned that.
If I saw a Mothman in my house lawn, I would be like the cartoon where the guy just like leaves his skin.
Yeah.
And I would just leave. It would be my meat suit would just fall down and I would run.
Right.
Oh God, that would be
it's some of the accounts we have heard. I mean, they're kind of hard to believe sometimes, but boy, when you talk to the people and the sincerity and not embellishing on the account, and I have tried to get them to get off of it just to see if they're trying to pull my leg, but it's almost like they're imprinted. What they tell you first is what they're going to stick with. I've rarely had anybody embellish on it. I don't know why, because, when you're involved with cryptid investigations, people seem to want to satisfy the investigator by telling them something that is kind of embellished as to what they really saw.
Embellished or unembellished?
Embellished.
Okay.
And, but these folks, and I've had, witnesses from every social, economic level you can think of, every race, everything. I mean, another thing about this whole phenomena is, which I find fascinating, is that over 50%, because I went back and checked with people, over 50% of the sightings are of people of Hispanic heritage.
Oh, well, Yvette's Hispanic.
Yeah.
Yvette is Hispanic.
Is she?
Yeah, Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I get a lot of people who, they'll contact me. And I'm almost to the point now where very early in the conversation, I asked them if they have Hispanic heritage. And many of them do. And I find that fascinating. I think there's a cultural thing as well with this, but I just can't pinpoint it.
These Mothmen might be trying to give them Hispanic attacks.
No.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry. Carl, can you said orbs? Oh, okay. People are asking also about like UFOs, orbs next to Mothman sightings. Any correlation there?
We had two sightings where there was a UFO involved. Now, the first sighting was not, I think, of a winged humanoid. It was right there at O'Hara, where the cemetery is. There's a cemetery in O'Hara, Rest Haven Cemetery, which is the same area where we believe there's a portal or two where these things show up at. But we had a security person at one of the cargo areas who was there late at night at 1 or 2 in the morning. He was basically, what he was doing was directing trucks coming in to unload. And it was right there by the Rest Haven Cemetery. And he said he was standing there smoking a cigarette, and he saw this egg-shaped UFO move over this cemetery and hover. And as he watched this thing, he said a human form literally ascended up into this craft, and then it took off.
Ooh.
We also had another one, not much later, of a security guard on the southwest side of the airport where they had been doing construction work. And I think they're still doing a lot of construction work there. But he was guarding, and he saw this winged humanoid, the red eyes. He saw it. He walked up towards it, and this big triangular shaped UFO showed up. Just hovered for a couple seconds and disappeared. So I don't know what the connection is. We don't think.
Look, if you see a Mothman and a UFO, then you're double nuts, right?
Yeah. Well,
people think you're double nuts.
There's a lot of stuff that O'Hara's a weird airport anyway, because there's just a lot of stuff that happens there.
Do you think they're attracted to like airplanes? Have there been pilots that have been flying small aircraft and seen one?
I don't have any small aircraft pilots, but I had airliner pilots who were taxiing into the terminal see them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Have you, Caillou asks, has there been any photos or videos that you think are legit?
I have one video. I have it on my YouTube site. it's hard to see because we did try to lighten it behind it to get the form, but these people were on the roof of their apartment building. It was like 5 or 6 of them, and they got a short video of this thing flying by the building.
And what else could it be?
Well, yeah, it wasn't a bird, and they were pretty freaked out about it. But it was a dark figure, but you could tell it was winged. It was flying. It was way up on the top level of the apartment building. It was a I don't know how many stories it was, but it was tall.
Wings outstretched.
Yeah, the wings were out.
Well, that's the next question. Are most of the reports, Lon, that you get with outstretched wings, or no wings, or one wing, or what's the most common?
The most common is the wings are out.
The wings
are
are
not
out,
flapping.
yeah. Right.
But they're not flapping.
Has anybody, okay, next question. Has anybody ever reported flapping? Ever? Other than opening?
We've had people who've seen them flap and go skyward from the ground.
Okay, like
we've
one
seen
flap?
people do. Yeah, we've seen people. We've had people who have seen them just fly over there and maybe flap 1 or 2 times. But honestly, most of the sightings are of outstretched wings, but no flapping.
Have you heard of sky diablos? That's pretty. Sky devils.
Sky devils? I haven't heard that term before, I don't think.
I never have either. That just sounds like something that, you said a community member in the Yuma, Arizona area talked about sky diablos.
Well, that sounds like a Hispanic thing to me. So, it may very well be, down along the Rio Grande, people have the old Lacusa, the large owl legend. And we've had some Hispanic witnesses in Chicago swear that these things were Lacusas. So I don't know, but I know that's a cultural thing, and maybe there's a connection somehow.
Yeah, Caillou asked me, Doug, the thing that flew at you in the car, do you think it was a Mothman? I don't know. I just don't have lack of a better word. Yeah. Is there another term to describe? I just call them winged humanoids.
That's the term I have always used because I don't want to. When I first started getting the sightings in Chicago, I was calling it the Chicago Phantom because I had no idea what the hell it was, and that's what I was referring it as, the moniker I was using for it. But of course, when I started getting drive time radio people want me to come on in Chicago and talk to them, they were using the term Mothman, and that kind of hung on. So I decided that, look, I'll go ahead and use the Mothman term because I didn't want to confuse people. I didn't want to get people mixed up as to there are 2 different things going on out there.
Right.
But that's the only reason I used the Mothman.
Well, that's kind of what I've always thought too.
Yeah.
Because Mothman's kind of the speaking of Hispanic, it's kind of the Jennifer Lopez of cryptozoology.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody knows about Point Pleasant and knows, the prophecies and all of that, and John Keel. So, yeah.
So, has anybody ever felt like they were, other than myself, kind of wondering, and you wondering, gee, do we get picked? Did anybody else ever mention that to you? Like, God, I write for a newspaper, so I'm going to do an article on this, and I saw a Mothman. Has there been anybody else you've run into other than you and me?
Not really.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I'm just trying to think. No, I don't think anybody I know or anybody that's involved with the paranormal that have actually either proven to me or told me about having a winged humanoid or Mothman encounter. I know there have been some, and of course, I get people call me all the time who are not involved with the paranormal that have seen them. But no. You're about the only person I know that I have known that has actually had one.
Yeah, no, it motivated me right away. It was like 2 days. I called my agent and I told him my story, and right away, Lonnie's like, "Oh, you saw an owl."
Yeah, well,
I'm like, well, I'd be more interested if it was an owl because that'd be about a 450-pound owl. You know, because
Man-eating
the wingspan was, you know, as wide as the freeway almost, or wider than the freeway. You know, I didn't exactly get out there with a tape measure, but it was like, you know, a Cessna coming at you with the wings. And that's the other question. How much would you estimate the wingspan is on these?
The wingspan that we estimate anywhere from 12 to 15 foot total wingspan.
And Jeff, could you look up the exact width of a freeway?
Sure.
You know, white line to white line. I don't know. And I can say for sure, I mean, what I saw was like it covered the whole damn road. It was like, whoa. And we saw it way up in the air, Lon. It was a full moon night. We saw like a shiny line. And then we saw that shiny line drop. It was a real clear night. And it just dropped right to the freeway level, you know, maybe, 10 feet above the freeway, and then just right angle turn and headed right for my car.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had a few people said they actually saw it move, just dropping out of the sky towards the car.
Yeah.
So the standard lane width and the standard freeway lane width in the U.S. is 12 feet.
There you go.
And what was the wingspan again, Lon?
12 to 15 foot.
15. So 15 foot would cover the width of a freeway, correct?
For sure.
Nice. Yeah, they're big. And you know what really bothered us more than anything? What if our car had broken down? We were walking. What would that have done to us? Would it have grabbed one of us, both of us, and just gone? And could they be responsible for missing people?
I guess if you think out the box, you probably could come to that conclusion. But
Yeah,
I have never really heard of anybody being attacked by one of these things.
I mean,
actually coming down and trying to pick it up, other than the woman who had the laceration on her shoulder.
I'm a big dude. I don't know if could a 12, 15-foot wingspan creature, Jeff, pick like a full-grown man up, I wonder.
Well,
ask Rock.
To say.
Ask Rock. How big of a wingspan would a bird need to pick up a full-grown, 200-pound?
Have you seen videos of eagles picking up full-grown, like bighorn sheep?
Yes.
I've seen videos of that.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, a full size like bighorn sheep. You've seen eagles carrying them.
And eagles can have like an 8-foot, I believe. As I remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think golden eagle was probably about 8 foot, maybe.
Yeah. But see, it's exponential. Once you get beyond 8 foot, and then you get to the, 9 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot, it starts really, and then they get wider. The wings were really wide that we saw. They weren't like an eagle's narrow.
Yeah,
wings.
people are shocked by how wide the wings are. I mean, let alone it's got the full span but the wings are thick and they're leathery, and they got the membrane, and there's nothing there with air going through. It's like it's just having a sail,
right,
as opposed to regular feathered wings. Right. So they can probably get some pretty good lift with some weight.
Huh. By the way, the guy up on the screen right now, Steamboats, he is going to be presenting a tech breakdown as early as, probably won't be next week, but the week after. So
according to Grok, estimates from scaling real birds or extinct giant birds. This is actually a really good, it's a long reply. It's pretty interesting. But the short version is, from scaling real birds, the estimate would be 20 to 40 feet wingspan.
Needed
to carry an average human.
Okay, so Lon, we are safe taking the garbage out then.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And by the way, you look so good, dude.
I lost about 200 pounds.
Oh my God,
good for you.
You look amazing. So that's not easy to do.
That's great. Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, you just look awesome. You look like you're, 25 years younger. Don't shave your mustache out if you look like you're 12.
You know what? When I do cut the beard off, it's like it drops 20 years.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
That's
Lon.
why I shaved. I had the mustache for or
Yeah,
goatee
you look
for a
like
long
you were
time.
like a little. You look like you were a teenager, Jeff.
Yeah, I got tired of looking so old.
You know,
now I
little
get the gray
kids.
hair, but
I remember I shaved mine off. I had a little beard, and I shaved it off. And Blaine and Alex looked at me, and they cried, "Put it back on."
Well, I feel fortunate. I had bariatric surgery, and
okay.
that I had the bypass.
Yeah.
And when they did that, they found a tumor in my stomach, which was cancerous.
Oh, it saved
wow.
your life.
And they took that part of the stomach was coming out anyway, so they took and I would have never gotten it or found
right. I would have known.
So
Wow.
So what happened was when they
Mothman.
when they told me about the tumor being malignant, they wanted to do a PET scan and see if I had it anywhere else. Well, I had another one in my right lung.
Oh wow.
And 2 months after I had the bariatric surgery, I had my middle right lung, the middle lobe taken out, lobectomy. Lobectomy, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I had 2 major surgeries within 2 months. So
But
I
that
dropped
all
a lot of
really
weight.
that really worked out.
Yeah, I just felt very fortunate.
Guardian angel.
Yeah, I think I
No
had
kidding.
one or two.
So you're one of the few guys can say you were heavier, and it's you because you were heavier, it saved your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But anyhow, I really wanted to say that. You look great, Lon.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you look good. Just don't shave the beard off, though.
Yeah, I won't shave the beard off.
No, because then you'll look like you're 12. You'll look too young. Okay, so we covered a lot. I mean, we covered a lot of ground on these things.
Yeah.
I think most people in the audience I haven't seen any negative comments, not a one. So either, obviously you've done a good job at giving information because people are I've just seen so many questions coming in. Another one from Carl. He said, have you ever investigated the, what is that bird called? Starts with a P. Is it
Piazza?
Oh, the Piazza, Southern Illinois. Yeah, well, that's an Illinois thing. We get a lot of these winged humanoid sightings down in Southern Illinois, actually. Especially the ones that dive at cars.
And that's where that kid was picked up, lifted off.
That was Lawndale. That was up closer towards Chicago, but it was kind of the middle of the state. But Illinois has a history of some pretty weird large bird sightings. Even with the native people that had lived there, they talked about, what was that, the Piazza? They had the rock paintings and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wish we knew what they were, but I'll tell you, I just do not want one in my living room. Do not want one in my living room. Do not want one in my living room. Don't get any ideas. Whoever you are, whatever you are, do not get any ideas. It would end badly.
Yeah.
I have one of those knife sets on my counter. It would end really quick. It'd be like, I don't know what would happen. What would you do, Lon, if you? I'm serious.
I have no idea.
Let's try to be serious. You walk out of the room down the hall, and it's about maybe 1 a.m, and there is a big Mothman that's 7 foot tall standing in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Do you run? Do you scream? Do you get a weapon? Do you look for a weapon, or do you try to talk to it?
I probably faint.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you don't expect, and I would probably black out. I don't know. I have no idea. I never really thought about it, but I don't know. I don't know.
You haven't thought I do, and I always think the worst thoughts, like I'm gonna have a heart attack, or I don't know, I'm gonna crap my pants. Yeah, poop then faint. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Poop faint. That's exactly what we'll do there, Flat. Do the poop faint.
That could be your word of the week.
It's called the paint. When you do a poop faint, it's just paint.
Or a
You start
poont?
painting.
How about a poont?
Yeah, you just started painting. You know what's creepier than a big creature, though, Lon?
What's that?
A little creature in your house.
Well, it depends what the little creature is.
No, I know, but if I saw like a 3-footer, that would probably scare me more. I'd rather see a 7-footer in my house than a 3-footer, because the 3-footer can be sneaky.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. I'd probably be less scared of something that's big.
Yeah, because big means they're going to be not so quick.
Right.
So that helps. And
they're not going to hide from you.
They can't hide under the table or go under your bed.
Right.
Oh, God. Thank God everything I've seen in my life is outside. I hope the God of the universe isn't listening to me going, oh, really, Hajicek? Murphy's Law.
Yeah, don't challenge.
No, I shouldn't.
Don't challenge anything.
I'm looking for some wood right now. I got some wood here on my underneath counter. I think, here we go, knocking out wood. So how many do you think these things could be out there? I mean, do you think they're like in pairs, or do you think they just come solo? Do you think there's maybe do you think they actually could live in the woods and have a breeding population? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think they're ultra-terrestrial beings.
Ultra-terrestrials.
I think they're from somewhere else. They come here for whatever reason. I've never had anybody tell me that they saw them feeding on anything or pets or anything like that in the city. There's never been any reports of something like that. I don't know. I think their time when they come here, it's very brief. I think they've got a way of moving in and out through portals or something, but I think it's very brief.
They come with a checklist of who they're going to scare. Please put Jeff's name on that list.
No, thank you.
Please.
I want to see Bigfoot. I don't want to see.
And he is open during business hours at night.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah. Oh God, that'd be so.
Send me a Bigfoot though. I want to see a Bigfoot.
But see,
so
Jeff,
bad.
you got to realize that what that would do to you, your whole life. It would change your whole life.
Yeah, and that's kind of my theory. Is I'm not really quite ready to talk about it, but I think that I'm being protected from experiencing some things. I was a lot more sensitive to some things like that when I was a kid, and I think that. Well, I don't think that. I know if I saw something like that, I have an extremely vivid imagination. I have hyperphantasia. I have extremely vivid, lucid dreams. If I saw something that scary, it would absolutely traumatize me for life. I don't even know that I could function. So that's kind of my theory. Is I have a feeling that it's more than a feeling. The idea kind of hit me like a lightning bolt. I think I'm being protected. I really do.
It could be. And you didn't know this is actually therapy.
Well, I'm fascinated by it. But anybody
that has like fears like I do, or I'm sure Lon, you get like PTSD. You don't know it really.
Oh, I had PTSD.
Yeah,
I do too. And
this is why we do this. It's therapy.
Yeah.
If I had to pay to do this, I would pay you to do it. I would pay you people to listen.
Yeah,
I would.
I can handle Bigfoot. The supernatural stuff, anything that's even remotely demonic, it would traumatize me severely. I just know that. I know that about myself.
My brother, my older brother, we're all pretty sure because he described it, but he wouldn't actually use a name. He packed up, sold his house, moved his family, went out to Wisconsin, joined the Latter-day Saints thinking it was a religious experience. And he just had a face-to-face with a Bigfoot in the woods that night without a flashlight. That would do it.
Yeah. It's the strangest thing. It's like a switch flipped in my head because I used to be really sensitive to that kind of stuff. I couldn't watch scary movies up until that's probably my mid-20s. I mean, like scary movies would give me nightmares for months. I cannot watch them. And I can now.
You're pretty scared.
But so I just think something in my head flipped or I'm being protected. I don't know because this stuff doesn't affect me like it used to.
Do you think, Lon, that you ended up with PTSD from your Bigfoot encounter? Because that was really a weird. Why don't you tell us that story?
Yeah.
I got PTSD from an attack that I was assaulted, and I think that's where it came from. But I don't think it's from the Bigfoot.
Do you want to elaborate, or is that? I'm not going to pressure you, but
What are you talking about?
You said you were attacked.
Yeah, I used to be a union rep for years.
Oh, you're talking about by a person.
Yeah, by a person.
Oh,
I was
gee.
attacked by a person. So I was put in the hospital and a few other things. But I
geez.
think that's where I picked it up from. Now that was after the Bigfoot encounter. But I think that's what that was from. And I've been to therapy, so I get the whole thing. And
Yeah, right.
So, but no, I don't think the Bigfoot encounter had. I was pretty calm during that. Actually, I didn't know what I was, and I got close to it too, but I didn't know how. Don't really think it affected me.
So,
at
as
all.
I remember, do you want to pick it up right from the point you were fishing?
Yeah, I was outside of Sykesville, Maryland, about a mile downriver from the South Branch of Patapsco River from Sykesville. I was fly fishing, actually, in an area where I'd been many times before. I was standing in the river in waders, and it was a very narrow river there. And I looked across the river to the north side, and there was a dog walking through the weeds. I didn't pay it any mind. But then I heard the dog yelp. And when I heard the dog yelp, I looked up, and I saw this huge brown-haired human-like thing stand up out of the weeds. It was like the weeds were kind of halfway up to its belly, but I could see this thing. I mean, it was huge. It was, just all covered in hair. Now, look, I had heard of Bigfoot by that time. This was 1981, May of 1981. This is before I've done anything with cryptids or anything. And when it stood up, it walked to my left, to its right, out onto the bank of the river, which is gravel. I was about 40 foot away from it. I was really close. And it stopped and was looking at me. We locked eyes on each other for like 10 seconds. Now, it wasn't making any sound other than a clicking sound, which I think it was gnashing its teeth. I'm not sure, but I've heard other people tell me the same thing, that they heard like a clicking, like it was gnashing its teeth. But it was standing there. It was about 7.5 to 8 foot tall, I could estimate. Had a conical head, thick brown hair, top to bottom. A lot of matted hair on the legs with mud and stuff. But the face, it looked almost human to me. And in fact, I've described it as looking Neanderthal or like early man. I wasn't really scared. I was just shocked more than anything. And after about 10 seconds or so, it just turned and walked swiftly up into the woods behind it and took off. Well, of course, I didn't know what the hell I just saw. I thought maybe it was a Bigfoot, but I wasn't sure. So I got out of the river, kept my waders on, got in the car, and drove into town. So I came to the nearest phone, which was at a bar, actually. I should have stopped in there too, but I did. I called the police, and the woman who answered the phone, I told her I had an encounter with something. I didn't know what it was, but I described it to her. And
did you? I don't want to interrupt you, but
sure.
It's a good spot. Did you call the police in hopes of, or thinking someone might get hurt by this thing?
Exactly. That's the only reason I called them, because I thought maybe something was on the loose, and I had no idea what was really going on.
Like it could kill a kid or something.
Right. My first instinct to call the police, because it's like, I used to do a lot of hunting, so I had never seen anything like this before. So I told her, and she said, well, look, go back to where you saw this thing, and we'll have a police officer meet you there. Well, I didn't want to go back, but I went. And it wasn't much of a drive. It was only like 4 or 5 minutes from where I was. And so I drove back. And as I was approaching where I saw that, there was a Maryland State cruiser there, a Maryland State cop who was putting up those old wooden barriers they used to put across the road. Now, I pulled up and he told me to roll down the window and he said, "You got to leave." I said, "I'm the one who made the call." And I told her, I said, "Are you here because of the call?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I talked to the dispatcher and she told me to come back and she meets somebody, you meet somebody there." She said, "You got to leave." Okay. So I got turned around, got back home. I went back home because I was living in Sykesville at the time. I was wondering what the hell I saw. I was probably home about an hour.
Was Sykesville kind of on the map for all sorts of strange? Like, isn't that part of like a triangle of strange activity? Like, I always hear the Sykesville monster.
Well, the Sykesville monster was something that happened like 7 or 8 years before mine, but they were Bigfoot sightings.
But it would have been on a government preview, kind of like because of that legend. Like they may have taken you more seriously, the police.
Maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
I never thought of that, but maybe they did. But anyway, I got back in my car at home, drove back down the River Road, and there were cars all up and down the road lined up. And there were all the jurisdictions around there, all the police and sheriffs and all were all there, plus the feds were there. And back then, there were 2 black Wagoneers, which is what they drove back then. And when I walked up to the barrier, I could see people in the woods across the river with dogs going through the woods. They had a big white tent set up. I don't know what was in the tent. I don't know what I didn't know what it was. So there was a Howard County police officer standing there at the barrier. So I just kind of nonchalant went up to him and said, "What's going on? I'm trying to get down the road to Marriottsville." "Nah, you can't get through. We got everything blocked off." Somebody said they saw a Bigfoot. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't think I said Bigfoot, but maybe somebody
So
had
they're
meant-
okay, but they're telling you what you saw.
Yeah, telling me what I saw.
Thinking that somebody did, they didn't know it was you though.
Well, what happened was I said, okay. So I stood there a little bit longer and I thought, somebody's going to come up and ask me about this. Maybe that cop is still here to recognize me and want to ask me questions. I didn't want to ask questions so I got back walked back and got back in my car and drove home. When I got home, I called the 3 network stations in Baltimore at the time. And I talked to the news editors and they all said, "Look, when we find out more about it, we'll give you a call. We'll ask you questions. We're just going to make some inquiries." Okay. Well, about a week later, nobody has called me. So I called WMAR. I called their news director. He got on the phone and I said, "I don't know if I talked to you about this before. But I told him when I said, yeah, he said, "I can't talk to you," and hung the phone up on me. Now, I didn't know what that was all about. I didn't call the other stations, but I was kind of left hanging, there without an answer. So as time had gone on, I eventually heard from a Sykesville police officer who told me he was there. I heard from other people who were familiar with the case, familiar with the sighting, but nobody has a record of it. So,
How long do you think the police were there? Do you have any estimate?
I have no idea.
They could have been there all night for all you know.
Yeah, I have no idea how long they were there. So, so that's my Bigfoot sighting. And I think it's related to the Sykesville monster thing.
Sure.
Because when
it's by water, right? Obviously.
Yeah. Well, one of the people who told me about the Sykesville, because it was a guy I worked with, and he lived in that area, and he told me about it because some of his relatives were some of the original witnesses that had stuff happen in their home. He had family living there. It was an African American neighborhood. It was right by the river. So they all, most of them were family. I think there was like 2 families that had like 50 or 60 people from the families that were living in this area. And they were the ones that did the original report with the Baltimore Afro-American newspaper, who put out the original story about the Sykesville monster. And that's how it got picked up by the news. I had never heard anything about that. I just had moved to Sykesville in 1976. I had been there 4 or 5 years, but I had never heard of this Sykesville monster thing. Well, anyway, I got curious. I wanted to know what the hell I saw. That's where I really started with cryptids. I wanted to know what this thing was, and because of the guy I worked with, I was able to interview 14 people who had encounters or had seen this thing.
Wow.
In one instance, it got in someone's garage, and the owner of the home walked into the garage, and this thing was in the garage. And he closed the door, called the cops. The cops came, and the police officer was at the door because they had an outside door with, the regular garage door, but it had an outside door. He tried to open the door up, and this came from someone who was familiar with it. This thing literally broke the door down, and the door dropped on top of him, and this thing walked on top of him. He had to go to the hospital. And then they had done a lot of casts of footprints around there as well. So, but this thing was getting into chicken coops because they kept a lot of chicken coops around there. It was just a whole lot going on there at the time.
Jeez.
But after I had talked to several of the witnesses and other people who didn't even talk to the Afro-American newspaper, I was able to get a pretty good idea of what this thing looked like. That's when I sent all my information to a forensic artist who was a retired police officer down in Florida. And he did the sketch that you see for the Sykesville Monster online.
That's crazy. There's been some people who have been in chat going, I had this kind of experience, blah, blah, blah. We would love to have you on. You don't have to even be on for that long. You can just get a hold of Jeff, give Jeff your name. You can come on for 5 minutes or an hour or the whole 3-hour tour if you want. But get a hold of us if you have something you want to share and get off your chest. I think it does a person good. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Lon, how about you?
Yeah, I think it would.
It helps people to get it off their chest.
We've seen it for sure. Absolutely.
Go public with it. And it just seems to help. I felt better after I called Lon. Just doing that. I was like, oh man, I felt like a big relief off of me. And, I was just like, I'm glad somebody was there interested to not judge you, take the damn report, ask you the right questions, and that's it. Not make fun of you or try to make you think you saw a duck, flying in the air or a crane. And we already asked Lon Caillou about pilot sightings, like Cessnas or jets. On the ground when they're taxiing, they have seen it.
Yeah, that's the only pilots I talked to were actually at the airport taxiing. And both of them saw as it flew across the window of the cockpit.
Yeah. And don't you think, though, there's no really weird experience too small to report? I don't think so. You should, go on a podcast, tell people. It helps the next guy that saw the same damn thing you did. So it's very helpful to mankind. And so the more people, my God, can you imagine, Lon, if everybody who had any kind of sighting came forward? It'd be like almost the damn near 90% of the population. And then everybody would feel more comfortable doing it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people out there who just refuse to say anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Early on when I was doing this, it was like pulling teeth getting people to talk about this. But it's much easier now. It's the paranormal is more mainstream. It's on the media. You got social media, and they're less hesitant. But you still got people that feel they're going to be ridiculed and all. And
don't you think though that it's still only maybe 1 to 10% that actually report like a Mothman sighting?
It's very few. The percentage is really low.
So you could probably take it. So what would be the equation, Jeff? So if Lon's collected 184 sightings in the Chicago area, then you would times it times what to get the exact number of people if it's 10%.
We'll just move the 0 over 1. So if it's, you said,
Oh, shut up.
Well, yeah, 10s are easy. Factor of 10 is just add a 0.
I was doing 90% though.
Well, get the Drake equation, see if you can get it from that.
Yeah, get it. Yeah. Apply yes, Jeff. Apply the Drake equation. Thank you.
Okay.
But that would
I don't know. I mean, we've talked about that, with my team. Like, what percentage of people that has seen this thing have even reported it? And
see, Flat Rockland said you times it times 90, not 10. Huh.
Okay. All right. Maybe
so
I'm wrong.
If Lon's got 184 sightings, you times it times 90. What is that, John? What's 184 times 90? So it's roughly 1,700. Roughly.
Okay.
Sightings of Mothman. So that's probably the real picture of how many people really saw it, Lon.
Well, if 1,000 people saw something and only 10% reported it, that'd be 100 people reporting it. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. But if 90% didn't report it, that's what we're after. The people that didn't report it, that you can add to the people that did report. Yeah, never mind. You win it. You win again. You win again. Damn it.
Well, I'm not trying to argue. That's how I see it.
But you win. You win. Yeah, you just keep laughing. I'll get you.
3.14. That's it. It's 3.14.
Okay. Pi.
Yeah, 3.14159. Okay, you can memorize it out to like 10.
So that's the formula, and you just apply pi to it.
Okay. The Pythagorean theorem. Sure, why not?
Yeah, that's what you do. So what other cryptids do you think are like really bother you or that get to you? How many other, can you tell a story of something that's really even more creepy than a Mothman?
Well, I've got a book that's being edited now, but me and two other gentlemen have been collecting the what we call the Glimmer Man phenomena. Just think of the Predator movies, something that has some type of glassine-looking camouflage that disappears, and we've had people come forward who have seen something like that many times near their home.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. So this is, we wrote a book and we're just waiting for it to be ready to have it published. But we probably had about 50 to 70 reports over the years of that phenomena. So that's something that's fairly new. I did the, of course, I've never written anything about the cryptid canines, dogman sightings, but we get a lot of those reports around here as well.
Yeah, what do you think? Is that kind of the same category as Mothman? Probably it's kind of ultra-terrestrial kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe it's an ultra-terrestrial because I don't believe that they are indigenous beings. I think they probably come from another reality or another dimension,
planet, or it could be another planet, I guess.
However,
they're just visiting. They're just visiting. They don't. Yeah, this isn't their home.
We just don't really know. I mean, maybe one day we will, but at this point now, all we can do is speculate.
Yeah. That's all I do on math too, Lon. I speculate with math.
Yeah.
I just speculate. He almost got me on the pie thing too, Jeff. Just so you know. I almost fell for it.
I like Minxing's answer. 42. That's a reference to a great book.
I like Lee. She goes banana cream. Anyhow, so what are your plans to do with the Chicago stuff? I mean, you've already written. Didn't you write a book already on the Chicago?
Yeah, I wrote one book and a half of another. That was part of a winged cryptid book.
Do you have any other books you're planning on writing on the particular?
I don't know. Before I wrote this last one, I swore I wouldn't write another one. I've written 10 of them now, so it's not my most favorite thing to do, but somebody talked me into it, so I did. So somebody
a lot of work.
Me into another. It's a lot of work. Well, I'm involved now with actually trying to get Phantoms and Monsters produced into a series.
Right.
And I told you a little bit about that.
Yeah,
but
be a great title.
I'm involved with a production company now, and we're just starting to get funding and budgets and putting all that together. So
yeah, there's a really good chance that's going to go through and get you the budget that you need, because there's just so much interest in this. That's why they brought Monster Quest back, and they're just starting to realize it's a really popular topic. You know, I think there's a lot more sightings happening of weird things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think about that? Do you think it's just the social media is bringing them out, or do you think it's actually more sightings nowadays?
I don't think it's more sightings. I just think people are less hesitant about coming forward.
Okay.
And there's more opportunities. It's so easy. I mean, anybody can get on a podcast. It's pretty easy now.
Yeah.
That helps.
I think there's more sightings.
Could be.
I'm doing I'm going to be indifferent. I think there is more, and I don't know why. I just get this feeling there's more Bigfoot sightings than there ever was.
Art Bell called it the quickening. Art Bell wrote a book about that.
Yeah, the quickening. Do you think that Bigfoots are ultra terrestrial, or do you think they're just?
I think they're. I think there are flesh and bloods. I think there are indigenous Bigfoot in certain areas like Pacific Northwest, around the Gulf, down in Florida and such. But I think all in all, for the most part, that it's usually seen as singular being as opposed to groups or a family group. I think they do have supernatural abilities. I think they can move in and out. You know, I've talked to so many people who have literally followed one of these things and watched it, and it just simply disappeared. I mean, where there was no way it could go into anywhere and hide. I've talked to many people like that, and I think that's what they are. I do believe that they're, for the most part, interdimensional beings.
Okay. Yeah, well, whatever that means, right?
Whatever that means.
Yeah, we don't know, but we do. I think it's been proven by science. There's more than one layer to our world.
Yeah.
I think that's been mathematically proven.
Yeah, there's definitely multiple dimensions.
Using pi in that 90% thing. Yeah, that's how they did it. They used pi, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 3.14.
Pi r squared.
Yeah, then they squared it, and that's how they came up with that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
To prove there's dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
What time is it? Oh, gee. Okay, we got to let Lon go. It's getting late. Lon, you are just definitely
Thank you so much.
You are definitely kind of the godfather of cryptozoology. You and Lauren Coleman. You guys are amazing. And I just know how hard you work at this. You know, this is
what I do. I mean, since I'm retired, this is what I do.
Oh, I know, but you've been working on this. You've been outputting so much data and material for people and collecting it. And people don't have any idea how much work that is. Try it. Just start a thing and start collecting whatever. And do you also do do you have a pin map or anything that you can go to on your site? Do you need help with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it on the site. I'm going to put it on this. We produced the site about 6 months ago, and I'm going to put all the maps up there.
Okay.
Because I've got maps for the Chicago Mothman and for the Pennsylvania cryptid canine sightings as well. So we'll be putting that up there. But it is available. If you go into Google and just put Chicago Mothman map, it'll come up. It's a Google map.
You want to put a pin in for me somewhere around Moose Lake area? Just put a pin in for me.
Sure, I'll put a pin on there.
At Moose Lake, Minnesota, right there on the freeway. Just stick it in there. I want a green pin. But thank you so much. But why don't you throw up some of his books again, Jeff?
Sure.
The Mothman Dynasty, I think, is his main book right now that everybody wants to get a hold of. Yep, that's the book. It's a really cool cover.
Yeah, it is.
I like it.
That drawing of the that was done by one of the witnesses.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
The last question I want to ask about Mothman is: are the sightings mainly in the air, or are there like 50-50 on the ground, or where does
they're mostly flying?
They're flying. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe 20% on the ground. Less,
Maybe.
less, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lon.
No
And
problem.
I really appreciate it. And we love you. And you just keep plugging away.
Yeah. So let's
I'll try.
And I wish you the best of luck in getting your show.
I appreciate that.
If you ever need any advice from a guy that's made every mistake you could ever make in the TV business, you just let me know.
We'll keep you in mind. Absolutely.
I owe you. I'll just give you a list of all my mistakes, and then I'll like, oh yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Lon.
Okay. You take care.
All right, bye. And then we'll let Lon go and get to bed. He's
Yeah.
out.
Go
He's
on,
out. He's out east,
Yeah.
so it's late for
Getting
him.
late there. So we can play our wisdom here quick.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll be right back to
All right.
wrap.
Hold tight. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back.
It's now time for Untold Radio AM Wisdom of the Week. Want to learn faster? Then remember this. Stop studying and start explaining. The brain remembers what it has to pull back out, not what it passively takes in. And don't wait to be perfect. So struggle speeds learning. Testing yourself early, getting it wrong, and correcting it builds memory faster than smooth, comfortable study ever will. Good night. We hope to see you all next week. If you like the show tonight, please consider giving us a thumbs up, leaving a nice comment, and most of all, subscribing and hitting the bell so you will be notified when a new episode is dropping. Also, please share this episode. Now back to Doug and Jeff for our wrap.
And what would happen if I was gone when you came back? So it's just you.
I'd say good night, and I'd end the stream.
You wouldn't worry about me.
No, not now.
You
No,
just
piece
go,
of cake. No,
whatever.
whatever.
Call him next Monday.
Whatever. I'll talk to him in a week. Whatever.
Oh man, I have this feeling I'm coming down with the flu.
Don't.
I just have this feeling.
Oh, don't.
I
Get
went to
grabbed by.
I did the thing you never do during any kind of like flu season. You
Mhm.
go to a buffet.
Ah, yeah. Bad idea.
You don't ever. It's a bad. What could go wrong? And it hits me after hours. I go, damn it! Why did I do that? And then a
Everybody-
few days later, you start going, oh
Yeah. We got decimated at work. It was pretty rough. We 2 weeks ago, everybody in the shop was sick. It was not fun.
yeah, no,
Not me. I don't get sick. I'm lucky.
not a contest.
Not a contest. No
I could-
wagering.
I could get you sick real easy. I know.
Oh, I'm sure if I tried hard enough, but
See what happens with me is I do this battle thing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like I'm better, and then I'm like, oh, I think I cured it. Like I'll take elderberry crap and stuff to fight it off in zinc, and it'll just kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then all of a sudden, wham! It'll get me. It seems like it gets you.
Well, I think that zinc helps. And, for most of my adult life, I've had the kind of job where I can't just call in sick. I can't just not show
No.
up. So I just tell
So you
myself,
will
you're not
yourself.
sick, you're not
Yeah.
sick, you're not sick,
Yeah.
you're not sick. And I go tough. And sometimes I feel like absolute dog crap, but tough it out. That's kind of what men do.
Spread the love.
Well, no, don't do that. But, anyways.
And Roger, it was a Chinese buffet, and it was amazing.
Yeah, so it might have been worth it.
It was like do you ever eat at the Silver Star buffet? It's a Chinese buffet, and oh my God, it was so good.
My favorite buffet ever is the seafood buffet at the Rio back in the 90s was
Oh yeah, I
spectacular.
remember that.
Remember that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was
spectacular.
That was
I don't think it's that good anymore.
Well, it was Steve Wynn that put that on. and
Yeah, the
everybody-
Rio back in the 90s, man, the Rio was just awesome.
Yeah, I
place
used to
be.
stay there. And
In Vegas. For anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, that was a great. I don't think Vegas is nearly as fun as it used to be, but anyways,
well,
not
the Rios kind of went.
yeah, I think they all kind
Steve
of
Wynn
did.
sold it to the Golden, that group, the Golden Nugget group or whatever, and it kind of went.
I haven't been out there in a while.
So,
anyways,
anyhow, what are we talking about? Hotels?
yeah, we started rambling. Buffets, getting sick, and probably a good thing to end
It
on.
goes
Huh?
to the Rio and then Vegas. Next thing you know, we're talking about SEMA and blah blah blah. blah,
I haven't been to SEMA in forever. I need to do that again too. That's so
love
much fun.
SEMA. I love
That's
it.
a ton of fun.
I haven't been there since COVID got canceled. My trip, You know,
I can still get in there. Well, so can you. We both could. So yeah. We should do that. That'd be a fun trip. My dad would love to go too.
Yes, and I always go there. I work. I'm always working, so I never get to like kind of relax. So I love to go there and just chill.
It's a pretty cool place.
And just look at all the jillions and jillions of cars.
Yep.
All right. Anyhow, good night.
Anyways.
We do have a really great guest next week, and we will see everybody next week. Thank you for tuning in and all of our little glitches that happen.
Our nonsense.
All of our yeah. Sizzle manizzle.
Our finely crafted presentation.
Yes.
Anyways.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should stop falling, we'll head home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Oh, ain't no ordinary love we got going on. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait if ever you should be in